It is a pleasant good morning and a warm welcome to your program, Good Morning Sierra Leone, the program that always starts your day. I am Sheku Smile.
And I am Francis Paran, and our quote of the day is from an American novelist, William Candice, and it says, "Power does not corrupt people, people corrupt power." Sheku, is that true?
Well, that is his opinion.
We're coming up in the program this morning. ACC commences investigation of allegation against the Clerk of Parliament and his wife. Medical and Dental Association concludes its annual general scientific meeting on the theme mental health issues in the workplace. Time for action and combating the Kush epidemic in the country. The association action plans. And the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to embark on PPR vaccination campaign nationwide. We invite you to participate by sending your comments and views to the number on your screen, or you do follow us on our Facebook page at SLBC Channel 31 Live. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone.
And it is reaching you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. We are back, and the program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, a live broadcast from a New England Broadcasting House. The country's anti-graft agency, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has in a press release informed the populace that it had commenced investigations into corruption allegations against the Clerk of Parliament, Honorable Paran Umarr Tarawall, and his wife, Madam Abiatu Tarawall. According to the release, the Commission is investigating allegations that the Clerk of Parliament employed his wife without the due process. The Public Relations Officer of ACC, Stephen Blake, is with us in the studio to tell us more insofar as the investigations are concerned. Good morning, Mr. Blake. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Sheku. Good morning.
In the first place, can you confirm to us that the Clerk of Parliament is under investigation for allegedly employing his wife without a due process?
Confirmed.
Okay, so how are the investigations going?
So yesterday we put out a press release because this is what we normally do when we're investigating corruption allegations, that the Clerk of Parliament is under investigation and his wife, because there has been this allegation. It all started from a media publication and it went on into media commentaries that the wife works at Parliament, had never showed up for work and is being paid. So we commenced gathering evidence around that, or intelligence around that. We did, and we had a reason to believe. So we are investigating possible or suspected abuse of office and conflicts of interest. And in that regard, we have some incontrovertible evidence that she, at the time between September 2021 to March 2023, was working in Parliament with a pin code and was receiving salary, and we commenced the investigation. So as part of the processes, the first and foremost thing was to recover monies she will have received in the period.
Mr. Blake, is this not worrisome that people we are expecting much from, the public is expecting to I don't know how to say it, people who the public is expecting much from are these people that we're now investigating because of corruption, the very fight you people are calling on all Sierra Leoneans to join?
For me, we have to be willing and ready to fight corruption in all its shape, in all its forms, and in whatever way it appears. There is no need to, it can be a concern, but there is no need to be despondent, to like give up, to like, things can happen. And what we are looking at is an allegation at this stage. And let's see.
So it is, but now you've confirmed that the lady has started refunding.
Yeah.
So then, is the clerk still in Parliament? Is he still working?
Well, of course.
Why? Don't you think it should be set aside for now, until after the investigation? Because you don't need more investigation. The woman has started paying the money. Is that not so?
So, Francis, it's not what I think. It's what the law says.
Okay.
Some moral arguments, as long as they are not in the law, they remain as good as trying to cajole somebody.
But the thing is that, Mr. Blake, now you've got, for the fact that the lady has started paying the money, that is an exhibit. That is an exhibit. But indeed, so, some form of, the thing is that if for any reasons, those monies were not paid to that lady as monthly salaries, as the case may be, there is no need I can pay what I did not take.
So let's look at it from this angle. I started with Francis before you came in that our laws, section 134 and 135 of the Anti-Corruption Act are very clear. When an ACC can only demand suspension for people we have indicted formally. When we are under investigation, we cannot indict, we cannot suspend them. There is no provision from page 1 to the end of this Anti-Corruption Act here with me. That's one limb of it. And the second limb of it is this. We are investigating suspected breaches to the Anti-Corruption Act. We don't convict. The public opinion don't convict.
But you have prosecutorial powers.
Can I come? If somebody comes to the office and says, I did it, if you want to charge, you can charge. If you are going for recovery, you go for recovery. Convictions are only passed by the court. So what is happening at this stage, as clear as what has happened is, to anyone who is looking at it, we will still investigate and conclude that this is what really happened. And that is what we have started.
What if you investigate and at the end of the day, it becomes that the man in question, the clerk, is not guilty? Are you going to make a refund? Because according to you just said that the lady in question has already started refunding.
For months she did not work for. Those monies are, we have evidence that she did not work for this period of time. Bring back. You did not earn it. Now the investigation is on how did she get the job. Probably she got the job the right way, or that did not flout any law. Probably. If she got the job the wrong way, that due processes because Parliament has a procedure on hiring personnel. If those procedures are not followed, then we comes to who hired her. And so at this stage, what we are recovering and have recovered is informed by the fact that she did not earn them.
Mr. Blake, how serious are we as a nation to fight corruption when I'll just wake up in the morning, take monies that does not belong to me but to the state, and at the end of the day, the ACC will say that money you have to refund, and you recover the money from me and you let me go? How serious are we?
So it's about what you consider let me go. What is let me go about investigation?
So after this recovery from the lady, what's next?
Investigation. And what after investigation? Evidence. If we have evidence that will warrant us to charge somebody, we are going to charge somebody. If we don't, what you don't do is to conclude before you start.
So and that is why we are not concluding for the fact that she has accepted that I did not work for so and so months, but I received salary, and she has started refunding the money. It's already
so that is all you need to go to court. That is all you need to go to court to tell the judge that she was not properly employed. That is just one bit of it. We are procedures breach in employing her. What are the possibilities that collusion took place, conflict of interest? And the law, the Anti-Corruption Act I have here with me, has elements to every of these offenses. If you want to charge somebody for conflict of interest, you have to establish the premise. If you want to charge somebody for abuse of position and abuse of office, you have to establish the premise.
Mr. Blake,
can I land on this? You don't establish premises without following the process.
Okay.
So what we are doing at this stage, and is a good thing that we are here this morning, to tell the public that this is indeed a suspected breach of our laws, and we're investigating. Okay. And you don't.
Okay, now let us establish something, Mr. Blake. Now, let us lay the premise. Okay, the lady in question was employed.
That is why we
has that been established?
Of course, we saw.
Okay.
We have secondly, department.
She was working at he was working. She was working for Parliament. Supposed to. But
Subject to investigation.
But for certain ones, she did not work. And the money now she's refunding, these are monies she took. Why is not working? Is that the case?
That's the basis, yes.
Okay. So now, let us try to know, how much is this money?
So we have recovered 131,000 new leons out of 156,000 new leons, which is 156 million. She received over one year and 7 months period.
And she did not work during that period?
No. We are talking about a period that we have recovered for, where we have evidence she did not work.
Okay.
Because it's not for the entire 1 month.
Because the thing is that she is a Sierra Leonean, just like you and I. She has the right to be employed.
Of course, yeah. That's why you have to.
So that is not really what our concern is. Our concern is she was employed, but she did not work.
That's the allegation, and that's what we are looking at to know how all of this happened.
All right, thank you so much, and continue to stay with us. And he is Silvanus Blade, the Public Relations Officer of the country's anti-graft agency, of the ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission. And the program you're still watching is Good Morning, Sir.
Yes, we go to another issue. We'll definitely go back to Silvanus to ask certain questions that need to be clear for the public. The National Mental Health Program Manager in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Abdul Jallo, has said that there are 98% treatment caps for mental health victims and patients in the country. He made this disclosure during a scientific symposium held by the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. Dr. Frederick Coker, President, Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association, is our studio guest, and he's here to tell us more. Good morning, Doctor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So, first of all, for this general good of the public, what is mental health?
Mental health, when we talk about health in generally, it does not only mean the presence of disease, okay? It has to do with the presence of disease, okay, and also the presence of psychological and mental issues. So mental health basically deals with ailments or breach of the health of someone that has to do with the person's psychology, the person's mental status. Okay, it is a broad range of problems, but unfortunately it is something that we overlook most of the time. And in recent times we've been having concerns from our colleagues, from health staff, about suffering from mental health issues. So that was why we thought it fit that during our AGSM, our annual general and scientific meeting, we should have as a theme for that meeting mental health issues in the workplace, and it's time for action.
Now, Dr. Coker, let us talk about, there are times you see somebody well dressed, and he's walking around, he's in an office, probably he's a boss or she is a boss, but the way he or she behaves, might look very strange, and there are times there are people, the mental health that people concentrate on is psychosis, but failing to realize that neurosis also is a mental health issue. You see somebody well dressed, well educated, he comes to the office, he or she is the boss, but there are some strange ways the person behaves. What will start to think, what is happening? So how can you detect mental health?
Yes, so
especially in the area of neurosis.
As you rightly mentioned, the perception about mental health among most people, the lay people, is when someone comes in with frank psychosis. But mental health is far more ranging than that, okay? Any issue that impacts on your mental well-being is a mental health issue. If you're having chronic headache that impacts on your functioning, it's a mental health issue. If you are chronically tired, chronically fatigued, and it impacts on your well-being, it's a mental health issue. If you are going through anxiety, if you are going through a period of stress, if you are going through periods of depression that impacts on your well-being and ability to function.
What about somebody who is paranoid?
These are all mental issues. And the thing about mental issue is that it's only recognized in a lame way when people come down, as you mentioned, with frank psychosis. But what is very crucial to understand is that most of the time, people with mental health issues, they suffer in silence. They suffer in silence and they are not able to speak about it. Some of them are shy to speak about it. Some of them feel that they'll be stigmatized, if they speak about it. And that is what we intend to, speak up against. That mental health issue is real and we have to find a way or means of bringing them out.
Now, Dr. Coker, how much have you now after this scientific annual general meeting and scientific meeting? What do you intend to do to ensure that people really understand what mental health is all about? Because all we know is that it is only when they see somebody holding rubbish, somebody holding rubbish, somebody hallucinating,
yes.
and that, oh, this person is crazy. But how much, what do you intend doing? Because for the fact that you've now identified the problem, because it is always said that a problem identified is a problem half solved. So what are you going to do to ensure that this message actually goes down?
So one of the things we intend to do is exactly why I'm here. Public education. I think we have a very proactive mental health department at the moment, who are doing a great job in terms of disseminating information, about mental health and its impact on society. So we have plans of doing a lot of education, public awareness raising in terms of what mental health is all about. Yeah, but what our AGSM actually targeted was basically mental health issues among health workers. Because, our ultimate goal is to provide the highest quality of health for our people, for you. But then there are so many factors that will influence the production of that quality healthcare delivery. And one of them is the well-being of those very people who provide the service in the first place. So if we are concerned that a high percentage of our colleagues are having mental health issues, we thought it fit that it's high time that we really take proactive steps in addressing that.
Now, Dr. Coker, let us talk about the mental health, the psychiatric hospital at KC. According to Dr. Nahim, blessed memory, he once said that over 70% of mental health, cases at the hospital there, is as a result of drug-induced psychosis. And at this AGM, you spoke lengthily about kush, and we know how kush is destroying our young. And if that statistics that the late man gave, was something to go by, then it is worrisome. Over 70% of mental patients there, is as a result of drug-induced psychosis. So, if kush was mentioned, was thoroughly discussed, what, as medical people, what are you going to do, to also ensure that people refrain from abusing drugs?
Yes, thank you. That's very important. So that was why we specifically, we had a team presentation and then we had a symposium during which we specifically discussed the issue of kush. Because kush is a menace in our society at the moment, no doubt about that. We have an epidemic of kush. So in fact, what Dr. Naim of blessed memory said is even an underestimation of the current problem. As at Friday, when we were having our AGSM, we had about 134 patients on admission at KC Mental Home, of which 98 of them were just for kush alone. I'm not talking about drug abuse generally, I'm talking about kush in isolation. Accounted for 98 out of 134 admissions at the time, which is over 70%, kush alone. So it's a very big problem at the moment, and it really affects our youth, who should be the most productive people in society. Those between 18 years and 30 years are mainly affected. So it's a big problem. So what we intend to do as an association is one, we have resolved to play a lead role in educating the public about the dangers of kush. It has wide-ranging and far-reaching consequences. So we are resolved to play a lead role, in educating the public as to the dangers of kush. And of course, we intend to engage the Ministry of Health to see how they can optimize our ability, to manage drug-related problems. like capacitating our labs, for example, to identify people who are intoxicated with drugs, you know, and also we are planning to have a way of screening, because sometimes when people are on drugs, they will not volunteer the information, so you have to get it from them through skillful means. So we are planning on having a way of screening people in that vulnerable age group to tell whether they are using drugs or not. You know, and of course we also want to encourage the government, because if we do all of this, you know, and we are not able to cut down on the source, the supply, the proliferation of the kush, then we will be fighting a losing battle.
So, Doc, let's talk about you being partners with government and also the Ministry of Health. So, are we thinking of opening some rehab centers in Sierra Leone? Because I'm not sure we have much, or we have more of it where you can get these people. As you said, not only those that are taking drugs, even people in workplaces, according to your theme. Because some of us in the offices, we have issues disturbing us, we have mental issues, but we don't discuss it. Sometimes when you say you go against the wishes of your bosses, and at the end of the day, you are being victimized. So are you thinking of working with government and other development partners to get rehab centers where you can get people to walk in, explain their issues, and then you get them?
Yes, that's a very good point. Dr. Tarawall should have been better person to elaborate, but honestly, it's something we've been thinking about. You know, not only having a large rehab center, but even as individual workplaces, there should be a channel where people should be able to complain when they feel like they're having mental issues. I mean, if you see a staff behaving abnormally, you know, before castigating that staff, you need to find out, is that person going through life challenges? You know, unfortunately, our society is such that those things are not prioritized. You know, I mean, when I was in Ghana, for example, I remember periodically in my department we call the clinical psychologists to come and counsel us with the staff, you know, in cognizance of the fact that we are working under extremely difficult situations. We are routinely counseled, you know, and, you know, encouraged to come up or come out if we think we are going through mental health issues. So we are in the process of seeing how, you know, we can replicate such in our society.
Now,
what we need to do first is we need to have a manpower.
Doc, quickly, let us talk about, you know, post-traumatic stress disorders, because it is one thing again, you know, that is silently, you know, disturbing people without even, you know, realizing, you know, PTSDs, you know, post-traumatic stress disorders. How do you handle those cases?
You guys are turning me into a psychologist, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a pediatrician, Dr. Jalo has been the best, you know. So, but of course, it's a big problem, definitely. Especially, I mean, living in a country who, I mean, coming from a lot of unfortunate events, coming from Ebola, coming from, you know, COVID, you know. So there are a lot of post-traumatic stress disorders going on, and the psychiatric departments, I think they have programs for that. I will not be able to give you the specifics, but they have programs for identifying, you know, those people.
Because the thing is that the reason I'm asking this, you being the president for the Medical and Dental Association, you know, some of these things are things that actually lead to chronic, you know, psychotic problems. You know, because it starts gradually. Somebody, you know, having this stress. By the time you realize it has reached that bipolar stage, and once it reaches the bipolar stage, now it becomes a problem.
Yes, so I agree. So that's why mental health is a priority for our association. I can assure you it's an area where we are going to be doing a lot of education, a lot of community engagement, a lot of reaching out to people about, and we hope that, you know, in the next 1 or 2 years there would have been more awareness about mental health issues. But again, one of the things that we resolved to doing is that we want to encourage institutions, I mean primarily medical institutions, but again, even SLBC, every institution, as leaders, as managers of those institutions, always nurture a supportive environment. It's very, very key. Always nurture a supportive environment, okay, and create an avenue or opportunity for your staff to speak up when they feel they are going through mental health issues. I think that's a very key and basic starting point in addressing mental health issues.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Chalo. We'll definitely come back to
Dr.
you.
Coca.
Sorry, Dr. Coca. Since we are talking about mental, thank you very much, Dr. Coca. He is the president of the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association, and we are talking about their just concluded scientific symposium and their annual general meeting. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. We also have in the studio Sylvanus Blake from the ACC, and definitely one of the people you would love to see on air. We have Sanepo in the studio from ETSA. We're going for a short break. When we come back, Good Morning Sierra Leone.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruits and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available, brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar.
Is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. We're now going to ETSA, that is the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority. The authority is urging the public to ignore misleading social media claims offering 70 watts free electricity as a New Year gift. For more on this, we have here in the studios Sanepo. Sanepo is the communications director at ETSA. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Now, this disclaimer you are making, it is that somebody just sat in the comfort of his room or parlor to just share it.
Well, before I come to the disclaimer, what really happened or what led to that particular publication from social media abusers, I'll say, is the very fact that on the 23rd of December 2023, the infrastructure at 161 was experienced unfortunate event where bandwidth gained entrance into the infrastructure, and during the process of the security trying to get them out of the infrastructure, they ended up to damage one of our transformer radiators, which led to the leakage of over 60,000 liters of oil. So because of that, we experienced malfunctioning of transformer 2, and consequently we had to shut it down because we cannot operate it when it's malfunctioning. So because of that, we also came out, we informed members of the public through press releases and other media engagement that this is the situation, and that particular transformer is used to give an output of 27 megawatt. So because it was taken out of operations, we are struggling and we had a deficit of 27 megawatt, which we can't.
So is that the reason for the outage? Is that the reason, sir? Is that the reason for the outage?
Let me establish it.
So the thing is that you said there was a leakage.
Of course,
that has been established. That there was a leakage. So was that the reason for the outage?
You know, if you can only allow me to
let's just make things clear.
So I just said that we registered a deficit of 27 megawatts, which we used to supply to the people, and that will speak to the fact that it's also part of the problem why customers had to experience outages. Well, what we did was, because we had that deficit and we wanted to ensure that during that period every customer enjoys electricity, we had to initiate a program that we call load shedding, wherein we ensure equitable distribution of the available generated capacity. So, for instance, those that used to enjoy 4 hours electricity will now enjoy 10, 15 hours electricity. And we also did ensure that every Sierra Leonean have access to electricity, even when we are
challenged. You mean every Sierra Leonean?
Even when we are challenged.
Did I hear you say every Sierra Leonean?
We did ensure
No, what I'm saying is that
we did ensure
this is an assurance you're giving the public. You
that
said
we equitably distribute the available electric capacity.
No, you said every Sierra Leonean.
Yes, so I said we are doing load shedding. We initiated load shedding plan. It doesn't mean you have electricity on a 24-hour basis, but we ensure that every day.
Did I hear you say every Sierra Leonean neighbor
that is connected to our grid?
Well, you should have qualified it. You should have qualified it.
No, but also you should know that you cannot get access to electricity if you're not connected to our grid.
Well, you cannot say every Sierra Leonean.
No, every Sierra Leonean that do get electricity
that is what I was
he or she is connected on the grid. You have meters, you have poles, you are connected on our infrastructure. That is the only thing that qualifies to have access to electricity.
Every Sierra Leonean
you cannot dictate what I should be saying to people. So, I think I have to speak so that people will understand.
No, but you cannot say every Sierra Leonean.
Nepo, let's talk about you've been able to restore.
So in follow-up to that, what we did was immediately we discovered that we had problems with the transformer. We have a contractor we call them operations and maintenance contractors. They are consultants. They are non-Sierra Leoneans. So the ministry had to call them in through our sister company called the Electricity Generation and Transmission Company. We call them Salini. They came in and they had to conduct maintenance on the damaged radiator. Maintenance and repairs.
So
and
as we speak,
2 days that was completed.
Okay.
And also what we did was we had to refill the oil in the transformer, because remember I said earlier on that we had leakage on the radiator. So when they use the maintenance materials to refill the transformer, but also unfortunately the oil was not enough because it was like 60,000 liters of oil. So and these are not common oils you find around the country. So we had to send one of our experienced engineers who went out of the country, got the oil, brought it, and as we speak now, the oil has been refilled. We've purified the oil and we've restored and retained the 27 megawatts that we lost during that period.
Okay, so now let's talk about what happened during this, because this message was also sent to my phone. But knowing what social media is capable of doing, for me, I just ignored it.
So haven't set the basis on which we were challenged with regards the smooth evacuation of power to our customers, which led to the complaints around saying that probably I have power or I don't have power. So now what happened was we saw a publication through social media saying that because we had challenges during the festive season, EDSA is now saying that they are dishing out 70 units to every customer as a means of compensation. So of course, when we saw that as a responsible institution, we came out immediately with a press release debunking that particular publication and saying there had been no time where we have communicated such to members of the public, and we saw that as something that is being done by social media abusers.
Okay. So now,
so the bottom line is it didn't come from EDSA.
Nepo, I think you need to explain to the public how is your when we buy our meter top up, how is it done? Because just yesterday I bought 200 leons. 200 leons. Is it 200 leons? Yes. I only got 40 units. That's too much, because if I can't even get 50, just 40. How is that done? Explain to us.
So you want to dive into the tariff structure, and I believe I'll just briefly explain that, then we'll progress, because we have had these kinds of conversations often. So now I think probably you may be on the domestic layer of the tariff, because it's an individual, it's a dwelling house. So when you go to apply for a meter, there's a form that you have to fill, and when you're filling that form, there are questions within the form that you have to answer, probably to say how many ACs you have in your house, how many televisions you have, how many are using gas cooker or other devices. So you have to indicate that on the form. That will speak to whether you require a single phase or a three-phase meter. And all of those phases of meters are also placed on different categories. So if you are a domestic customer and I'm a domestic customer, probably I am on a single phase meter. So my consumption pattern will not be the same as you who is using three-phase meters. You understand? We have three-phase and we have single phase.
Okay.
And all of that depends, the specification depends on your consumption pattern. Probably you are using more electronic devices, you are using more gadgets than I do. So you are consuming more power compared to what I am consuming. That is first thing you have to identify. Secondly, for instance, when you go to buy top up, if you tender a particular amount of money, first week, let's say January, you went and purchased 100,000 top up, you enter that into your meter. Then let's say again, second week January, you go again to top up the same meter. Mind you, first of all, upon your first purchase, we are going to deduct what we deduct GST and we deduct service charge, and the system will now calculate the kilowatt hour that you should have.
Okay, my first purchase for every month.
For every month, you pay both. If you go and purchase again, same month, let's say second week of February, you are not going to be charged service charge, but certainly you are going to pay GST. So GST is on every purchase you make. Whether you purchase 10 times a month, you're going to pay GST. You purchase once a month, you're going to pay GST. So that is going to be deducted. And we all know where GST goes. It doesn't go to ETSA. It goes to NRA. So now all of the GST will be deducted, the service charge will be deducted, and now the system will calculate properly the kilowatt hour as per your layer of tariff category. If you are on domestic layer or you are on you go have different layers. You have even domestic, you have the poor. You have those who are just using electricity probably for study purposes or to just see their surroundings. They are different. And you have other layers of domestic customers who have meters or power. They're just using it probably to they have ACs, they have televisions, or they have other gadgets they are using. I mean, so if you go within the domestic bracket, there are different layers as well. The same if you go to, you have industries, you have MDAs, and you have wedding shops and so forth and so on. So those are some of the things I think that's important for us to know, because if you know you are on tariff 1 and you know that you are using single phase meter, then certainly you are going to pay less.
Okay, now,
will not be as much as
you explained, you explained how these charges are done, how these charges are done, NEPO. Now, let us come to one area also that is of importance to a lot of people. Meter theft, has been on the increase. Meter theft, and when people are buying the meters, ESA told us, don't place your meter inside your house. It has to be outside, because ESA will be making periodic checks. And now these meters are being stolen. Okay, that is one. Procedures for replacement of meters.
So thank you very much. That's a very good question for me. So, and it's also a challenge on the side of ETSA, because we've been faced with several complaints, several reports from members of the public saying that my meter has been stolen, blah blah blah. So, there are certain customers, their meters are installed just at the frontage of the building. There are certain customers, their meters are also protected. That's probably they'll run cables around to ensure that it's firm on the wall. But what we have been against over time is to say you have some customers who have to take their meters into their bedrooms, who have to take their meters right inside their houses. The reason for that is simple. We used to have meter readers, and we also as ETSA, we have rights to access those meters if there are issues with those meters. So there are times we are challenged whenever there are issues, or when we want to inspect the meters, we go to premises and we cannot have access to those meters. That was why we said we don't want to continue encouraging or tolerating customers to be installing their meters right inside of their houses. So we encourage them to be doing. In fact, they don't install. We install. Most times when we install, they uninstall and go uninstall in their houses. So we've received several complaints on meter theft. So what we've been encouraging customers to do is, if your meter has been stolen, the best thing you should do is to come to ETSA. You write formally a letter to ETSA stating the date that the meter was stolen, and also indicate the meter information, because you have account name, the account number, the meter name, address, and so forth and so on. You indicate it. So once you've done that, and the meter number, once you've done that, we'll receive that letter. We'll immediately deactivate the meter within our system. Once that meter is deactivated, then whoever may have stolen that meter will not be able to utilize it. It will be redundant. You'll not be able to utilize it. And what then happens next? We'll now put it on a watch list, so that we've had several instances. We know when once the one who's stolen the meter attempts to use it, and he or she is unable to use it, he would then have to come to ETSA to say, oh, I have followed my meter, I can't use it, blah blah blah. So now, once we get such information, we'll now have to check in our system, because we have identified or put in that particular meter number on the watch list. Once we enter any information pertaining that meter, it will pop up that this is a meter that has been stolen and the report has been made.
All right.
So immediately we'll now probably arrest the individual and say, where did you get this meter from?
All right, thank you.
Now, what happens? I'm talking about replacement.
So yes, replacement. Well, it depends. We also do replacement, but it depends. There are times, if you have stolen meter, if you have faulty meter, if you have burnt producing meters, we'll say, come and report to ETSA. Once you make your report to ETSA, we'll now lodge your report, and we'll send technicians to go to your house, to your premise, to check your meter. Why that is important is, we as a sector, we need to ascertain what really went wrong with your meter. Whether your meter went faulty due to human interference, whether your meter went faulty due to theft, whether your meter went faulty due to other interventions that was not done by ETSA. So it went faulty due to natural occurrences, probably the rain, heavy thunder, we also call that. So once that is established, then we can be comforted, as I just say, no, because the meter was faulty due to this, we have to replace it.
All right.
So, but 80 out of 100 complaints, we have been replacing meters.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
But we want to make it also very clearly that
indeed the meter was stolen.
Yes, you have to establish the fact.
Okay.
But also, we want to make it very clear that mostly we know that the meters go faulty because of human interference.
Okay.
Because if you attempt to divert the settings on the meter, then it will have to go faulty. And there are times when it even go faulty, you'll be required to get a tamper code before you also get access to the meter.
All right. All right, thank you very much. He's Sanepo, and he's Director of Communications at EDSA, and he has been updating us about the activities. We still have more questions for him. Unfortunately, time is not our friend. So we now go over to you, the ACC, Silvanus Blake. Silvanus, you still on this investigation. How soon will the public hear from you? Because we don't want you to keep us in waiting.
We don't equally want to keep anybody waiting. The things when we investigate, we are looking for things we don't have.
Okay.
You get it from places and from people, and you don't determine when you see those places. You don't determine when you contact those people. Sometimes I wonder why we want to change the approach on professional ethics when it comes to ACC. Good thing, doctor is here. If you go to the hospital, regardless of how you know yourself, your anatomy and everything, or your medical history, you have to allow the professional do his thing. You can't say, oh, I'm feeling weak, it's my malaria again, and that doctor will give you malaria pills. That will be unprofessional. That will be dangerous. So when this breaking news come, is equal to reporting ill to any medical facility. It behoves the professional in that facility to do a thorough and proper thing. And he cannot determine how early he will want to. Every doctor wants their patient to go home today. And the hospitals are free and he can go and rest. but some will take 6 months, some will take 1 day, some will even go and be there for, some are on live treatment. So investigations are from the known to the unknown. It takes you to places you least imagine once you commence. It takes you to things you never thought of. We commence this investigation looking at suspected breaches to the anti-corruption law, to wit, abuse of office, conflict of interest. We don't know where it will land us. We don't know the issues that will be revealing themselves. And when we get a gamut of all those issues revealed, then we'll be able to take a
Now, Mr. Blake, are you succeeding? Are you succeeding in the fight against graft?
Very seriously.
How seriously?
Because as long as people are now willing to speak up against corruption, we continue to break grounds. The reporting of the incidents in their numbers does not connote we are failing. To me, it connotes that we are even winning, because it connotes the fact that people are now willing to speak up against those things. One of the most interesting cases we've had is a referral from Ministry of Finance of 7 of their senior personnel to the ACC to be investigated. Historic. Yes, that's a corruption allegation. The money involved is in billions, it's huge. But that somebody did an internal audit in his own institution and wrote a formal letter to the ACC that these are my 7 personnel I'm handing over. I suspect they have.
So is this what you are expecting from other institutions?
From every Sierra Leonean.
For every Sierra Leonean.
We have to be willing to report it. Once you report it and there is merit in it, we'll do our part. 2 reasons and 2 things we will always succeed to do.
Like what happened at the Ministry of Finance? It is well, investigations are on the way. But it seems to appear.
And the 7 people are under arrest.
It seems to appear. It seems to appear as though it is a joint criminal enterprise.
Of course, most corruption offenses, most are conspiracy offenses.
Silvanus, I'll ask this question because, of course, when you go to social media platforms, people are always asking, are there sacred cows for the ACC?
The only sacred cow is the well-behaved cow within the confines of the law.
But there's this saying that the ACC only goes after people who are not favored by the government or by the current authority, but they go after people who they say, okay, they go after the small fish, they left the big fish.
So there is no list of government favored and government disfavored in this country. I've not seen one. If you see one, you can tell me.
Okay.
What we do is investigate people. For example, you will never see ACC going to trigger a trouble for somebody. They go behind the scene, they do the things they do. The breaking news come from the media or civil society or from audit report. We run after them and they now begin to say we are cherry picking. Have we gone to any institution that is not named in audit report? No. Have we investigated anybody in this country for anything less than corruption? It will interest Sierra Leoneans to know that anyone who is a person of interest to the ACC has something to say. I would want somebody, a social anthropologist, maybe a civil society person or journalist, to do a survey, visit 100 persons the ACC have investigated, ask them if when they come to our office, we ask them about their political party, we ask them about their tribe, their ethnicity, which fraternity they belong to. No, we ask you about what you have done in contravention.
Okay, thank you so much, Silvanus. Thank you so much. He is Silvanus Blake, the Public Relations Officer of the Anti-Corruption Commission and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone. Quickly, we have Dr. Efremi Kuka, the President for the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. Now, Dr. Kuka, time is not our friend anymore. But then quickly, just tell us about the things you have in your action plan.
Thank you very much, Sheku. So, one assurance I want to give to Sierra Leoneans is that our association, what we have in mind primarily is really people, is helping the government to build a resilient healthcare system which is responsive to the needs of the people. That's our overall overall goal. How do we intend to achieve that? 4 things we intend to do. 1, look after the welfare of medical doctors. That's one of our primary responsibilities. If we are not satisfied as healthcare professionals, we cannot deliver optimal. So look after the healthcare professionals, look into their conditions of service. We have this fuel issue hanging over. A lot of things, promote social programs that will enhance their well-being. Secondly, we would want to support the Ministry of Health in whatever way possible. As long as it's a venture that seeks to promote health, we will support them. And I told my colleagues, I will be your voice, but at the same time, I will not support any doctor who behaves in a manner which is at variance with what we stand for.
All right.
So
Okay.
we help the ministry to ensure that our membership complies with their expectations.
All right.
And thirdly, let me just finish. Thirdly, we intend to embark on massive health education, and I hope you guys will avail your institution for that.
Definitely.
I hope you will. Yes, and
In fact, we have a
finally,
program here that is called, talk to the doctor.
Yes.
You know, and we also hope the Medical and Dental Association will cooperate with us, so that whenever we invite you, people you come, you know, yeah, because that has been a challenge.
So it's a deal. And
yes, so I can assure you. I can assure you. And finally, we want to be the voice of the people as well, because one of the things we're not happy about is that people go to Ghana, India for medical consultations, which I found ridiculous. So we want to
if
be
some
the
of
voice.
them are not, the facilities are not available.
Exactly. That's why we'll be the voice. So make sure that the ministry do all it can to make sure the available facilities are there.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sheku, quickly, I
okay.
just want to confirm from NEPO. So NEPO, are we going to witness an improved electricity facility?
So we have already
You only have
improved
5 seconds.
because we have restored the lost 27 megawatts. And
All
we
right.
want to keep assuring the public that we will continue to serve them and give them quality of supply.
Thank you so much, Sanepo. Sanepo is the Director of Communications at EDSA. Earlier you heard Dr. Frederick Kuka, the President of the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association, and Sylvanus Blake, the Director of Communications at the Anti-Graft Agency, the Anti-Corruption Commission. Well, that is how we say goodbye. It has been Good Morning Sierra Leone, which came to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. Many thanks to the entire production team, especially producer Joseph Stan. I am Sheku Smada.
And I am Frances Bernard, and many thanks to our guests, Sylvanos, Dr. Coca, and also to Sir Nepo. We have been your presenters, Frances Bernard. But before we go, a quick reminder of our quote of the day, which came from an American novelist, William Candice, and it says, "Power does not corrupt people, people corrupt power." Have a lovely and wonderful day. Good morning. Sierra Leone returns tomorrow. Keep watching your public broadcaster, the SLBC.